Thanks for joining me on the Love is Blind UK Loose Lips crossover.
Thank you for having me. It
We've just seen After the Altar. How was watching that back for you?
was funny. It was very funny. Entertaining, a little bit. But yeah, it was funny overall. I enjoyed it.
What part did you think was the most entertaining?
Oh, the most entertaining, I would say, there was one bit where Katisha's explaining to the girls about that her and Demla were like getting serious, and then Sophie's in the back like, I even messaged, as I was watching, I was messaging Sophie like, what's up with all these sound effects? So that was quite funny. I think another part that was a little bit funny was me and Cal when we're doing the drinks, and I was like to him, oh, you knew what he was doing when you posted a picture of his new partner. I thought that was quite funny. And then, obviously, me and Katisha's bit weren't really that funny. Not to me. It was more like, yeah.
And are you still blocked?
I haven't checked. I haven't cared to check, to be honest.
Okay.
I would assume I am.
Okay.
But I haven't checked. And then Sarova and Cal it wasn't funny. I felt bad for Sarova, but I felt bad for both of them, to be honest. So it was humorous though.
You were just taking the enjoyment out of it as if you was an audience member watching normal reality TV. Yeah. Detaching your own involvement.
Exactly. As you should do, I think.
How do you feel? Did you feel a certain type of way finding out that like Katisha and Demla had spoken, or were you?
Nah. So like I feel like I didn't give people what they wanted because as they were asking me to come on the show and stuff, they kept trying to plant that seed about it. But I had said to them at the time that I don't really care because I don't really care to have a reaction to it because. At the end of the day, Demla's his own man. He can do as he chooses. We met each other through this process. We've become friends through this process, but he doesn't have a lifelong allegiance to me. He doesn't have to tell me anything.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have to tell me anything either. So I didn't really have any feelings towards it. And I think that because I didn't care, it sounds a bit dark, but I didn't really care about her like from a romantic standpoint. So why would I be bothered, basically?
Yeah. Did you feel like when he sat down with you guys initially that he was holding back a bit? Just compared to like having watched it and now seeing how she described it.
Right. I don't want to say that he's holding back because me and him talk off camera, so I don't want to say he's holding back. He told me certain things, but what I was told versus what she described is obviously chalk and cheese. Yes, very different.
Okay.
He did explain certain things, but not to the degree in which she said it. When I'm seeing her on the screen, remember, this is the first time I'm seeing it as well, So what I'm seeing and the way she's describing it is different to what he told me, but he did inform me a little bit about.
But when you saw that you were blocked, right, I know you were like, I couldn't think of anything. You didn't think like, oh, maybe it was that podcast.
The problem is, and this is where there's a problem I have with certain people. Like, I don't know if they're just dumb or whatever, but like, during the process, when the show's out, you do a ton of podcasts. Like you get invited to all these podcasts. I had done multiple podcasts and I literally said the same thing in almost all of them. So there was nothing that was new in the podcast that I did. And the 2 days before we'd spoke on like FaceTime for like an hour and a half. So there was no new information that I hadn't said already. So that's why I didn't know, because I was like, well, I haven't said anything that you haven't heard already.
Yeah.
Or that I haven't said to you directly. So I don't know where you're getting that from.
I guess because obviously I haven't seen every podcast that you did,
Right.
I wouldn't know whether it was like, maybe it was a difference in tone or maybe she hadn't seen them, because I know Will's podcast is quite big. So maybe it was just a case of that she saw that clip and then was like, oh, there's now lots of people seeing it.
Okay, but then I would say to anyone with half a brain, would you make an assumption based on one clip? Or would you be like, let's investigate that. Is that correct? You would actually go to get proper context. And if you're watching podcasts that I'm on, you probably would have seen more than one. So that's what I would say to someone, me personally.
Do you feel like you gave the proper context in that podcast?
Yes.
In Will's one, yeah.
Because it was the same thing I said in multiple.
In the rest of them, yeah. What I was laughing was about in this conversation that you had with Cal, obviously you were saying to him, like, you obviously knew that she was going to see it. And I thought, well, you obviously knew that Katisha was going to see the podcast too, but you just presumed that she didn't have an issue with it because it was the same as what you've been saying. How long had it been, like, really, since you'd done the other podcast? Do you think it was like
Nah, but it was all in that run of the show being out. So it would have all been within the
Out
same...
together,
Yeah.
like in a week.
It would have all been within the same period of time, so...
One thing that I was confused by in your take with Cal was because you were like, oh, it sounded a bit manipulative, or it feels a bit manipulative actually for you to post that. But then Kieran spoke up, and then you kind of said that if she had blocked you, that you don't really owe her anything. So do you think he was being manipulative posting it, or that he didn't owe her anything?
No. Actually, if you listen back to the sequence properly, what I was saying is that it's manipulative to expect Cal to reach out after you blocked him, is what I was saying. And
right,
then Kieran was disagreeing with me, and I was saying, look, I understand what you're saying, Kieran.
Right,
I don't agree with it. Yeah,
okay, so that's my error then. Sorry, it sounded like you were saying he was manipulative, but then you agreed with him. So I was like, I didn't know what side you meant. Right, okay. Yeah. So on that note, who else on the cast did you think was manipulative?
Well, to be fair, I said slightly manipulative. I didn't definitely say it was 100%. Like, let's get the verbiage correct. You know what I mean? I think that there are many people that do things to make sure that they're seen in the right light. I'm not sitting there, and my job is not here to name names, but I think there's some people that they are worried about how they're perceived. You can tell that because, you know, there's certain people that have said on the show, I don't want to be seen as a villain. If you listen back to season 1 or season 2, sorry, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I think there's certain people that have to try and, when the cameras are on, they have to behave a certain way to try and create a character. Whereas there's some people that don't.
But do you think caring about public perception is the same thing as creating a character?
100%, because you have to create a character in order to be perceived a certain way. So if you're being yourself 100%, you wouldn't care.
Well, obviously they're not being themselves 100%, but...
Clearly.
But do you think then if you're not being yourself 100% that you're in character?
Yes. What else are you being? Who can you be but yourself?
But sometimes you might go to like a formal dinner and then you think, well, I can't be 100% myself because I know what I'm like, you know?
Well, I don't know. I'm me wherever I go, so I don't know. I don't operate on that like that. I don't operate like that, so...
And then when you guys got down to the conversation, obviously I understand where she's coming from, and I understand what you're saying as well. You're saying to her, like, obviously you can't react to something about how she feels because she hasn't told you how she feels. But at the same time, when she was telling you there in that one-on-one, it felt not like you were defensive, but it felt like you wanted to challenge what she was coming to you with. So could you maybe see why she doesn't feel safe in that environment to bring certain things up?
You know what I think? And I just had this conversation with Anu last night. So I think that some people have different conflict resolution skills.
Okay, yeah.
And the way that I am and the way that people are around me, when someone's upset or worried or annoyed or they feel disrespected or whatever, the way that I grew up, the way that people are around me, the way my family deal with me is we deal with it there and then. Or even if let's say you don't want to deal with it there and then because you don't want to be combative, for example, you might even just inform the person that I didn't like that how you did that, but I'll talk to you about it tomorrow because you don't want to have conflict there and then. So I personally can't operate I can't operate in a way where you're upset about something and then you message me 2 weeks later. And then in those 2 weeks, you're gathering evidence. Or I don't operate like that. I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I expect adults to be able to express themselves. So if someone can't express themselves, there's nothing I can do. I understand what she's saying, but I've also got to highlight the flaws in what you're saying, and I would expect you to do the same to me. So it's not about challenging her. And also, you mentioned about not making her feel safe. If I wanted to, there was also a lot that you didn't see because they have to cut it down, but how much time have we got?
Tell us what we didn't see.
So the issue that I have really is that, what was her gripe? Her gripe was that, was one thing she said, I was on podcasts basically bad-mouthing her, is what she said in a nutshell.
Yeah. And
the reason that that's false is because in every single podcast, I literally went out my way to actually speak well of her, speak well of our relationship, and actually highlight that the show didn't actually show all the best parts.
Okay.
You can go on every podcast.
Because that was actually like one of her specific complaints in After the Altar, wasn't it? Was that you didn't talk about the good parts of the.
It didn't make any sense because I'd even said that to her. We had multiple conversations about that. Like, why are they showing us like this? This is not even what happened. They didn't show us. They didn't show. And I highlighted that was one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
People saying, "Oh, Jav keeps blaming the edit." No, I was blaming the edit because they didn't make her look good. They didn't make me look good, and they didn't make us look good together.
You got
And I said it everywhere. So. There's too many holes in what she's saying, and I just feel like it wasn't really well thought out. Like you didn't really think about this kind of angle that you're coming at, and it's almost like you're being obtuse to it for purposely, which doesn't make sense. So as much as I understand her gripe is slightly invalid because it hasn't taken in the full picture. Yeah. So, and then in regards to that safe space and all that stuff, at that stage we've been done over a year. So your safe space. You go find a safe space somewhere else. It's not about being safe with me. We're not romantic anymore. Yeah. So I'm going to treat you like I would treat any of my friends or anyone else. I would just be honest with you. So her feeling challenged. Do you feel challenged, or did you just not actually listen and take in what I said? Because I could say I feel challenged. I don't feel challenged because I know what I said and I know what you said.
Well, it was me who used the word challenge just as like a viewer.
Yeah, but no, she did say. Yeah. But she did say that she doesn't feel confident. Her words were, she doesn't feel confident to bring stuff to me because I've always got an answer. Yeah. But if there is an answer, I'm going to give you an answer. Yeah. If there is no answer, I'll be like, I effed up. I did it wrong. Yeah. It's like when people ask me, when we go back to the original show, I don't want to go back too far back, but people ask me, would I have gone out? No, I'll be like, no, I shouldn't have gone out. I would have stayed inside. Like, that's me. Man, I did something wrong. So if there is an answer, I won't give an answer. Yeah.
The thing is, I think it's one of those situations, and I don't necessarily think there is a right or a wrong. I can totally see the way that you see it, and I can totally see the way she says it. I think from her perspective, it's probably more a case of, regardless of like the logistics of I've said this or I've said that, or like maybe what she said to you, you're saying obviously that the evidence didn't match up in the podcast that you did to what she was saying on After the Altar. But could you ever just go, do you know what I did like made her feel hurt and that's enough?
No, because if you're an adult, I expect you to express yourself. I teach my nieces and nephews to express themselves. So,
but you know, likewise, somebody could say, well, if you don't know when your behaviour may or may not upset someone, then I feel like I have to adult you like a child, because how do you not know that?
Well, how can I know that when we spoke 2 days ago for an hour,
and you was
an hour
fine.
plus, and you'd already seen pretty much everything that I'd said previously.
Yeah.
So, like,
that's what I mean. I think it's a really unique situation that you guys had, and it.
But you know what? I don't think so. I just think that some people have a difficulty just kind of confronting things and having difficult conversations, and you know, I think that also it's like selective outrage, because you can't be angry when you've heard me say the same thing. It got to the point where I was saying the same things in every pod, because after a while, after you do like 2 or 3, you end up saying the same thing anyway.
And people are asking you similar questions. Yeah.
So there was nothing new, there was no new info. So it was just like, we spoke for an hour. If you was ever upset about anything I'd said, we could have brought it up. Like, you could have. And in fact, how did I know I was blocked? If you heard me on the show, I sent her a screenshot. The screenshot that I sent her was from a pod that she did. And I was like, the screenshot I was sending there was something along the lines of...
Wait, were you sending to confront her?
Yeah, I was sending... but I'd only just heard it. So I sent her a screenshot, and the message was something like, this is inaccurate. Because you were saying something, and I was like, you forgot what happened here. But it wasn't like combative. It was just like, it was funny. I was just putting a laugh. Because when we had that chat, I thought it was cool. Like,
you thought everything was sort of done.
Everything was cool. We had a proper good chat. And I was thinking, all right, cool. We didn't work out, but at least we're on good terms. We know the show didn't give us the grace as some of the other couples.
And so how long had that been then since you did the podcast?
So no, that was the day I recorded the last one with Will. So it was me, Will, and Anu.
Okay.
And she called me that day. And then we spoke the same day, but it wasn't out yet.
Okay, so then it obviously went out the next day.
It come out, yeah, but I don't know when the show... I don't know. I think Will posted it like maybe like a couple of days later.
Yeah.
But then obviously I'd messaged her, and then I'd realised I was blocked, and then after that I was just like, okay, whatever, just left it.
Yes, that's probably, I think, where she feels a bit more disrespected. If you'd had a phone conversation, she might have thought, well, if we've had the phone conversation, maybe he'll talk about me in like a bit more of a respectful light in her viewpoint, I guess. And I'm not taking sides. I'm just giving you an alternative viewpoint. That's all.
But okay, I hear what you're saying, but there's a reason why that viewpoint doesn't make sense. That's the problem. It doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make logical sense because.
Oh, because you're saying you said nice things in that podcast too, and she didn't watch the full thing. You don't think she watched the full thing?
I don't think she could have, because for every bad thing you think I said, there would be more good things that I said.
Okay, fine.
And that would be across every single podcast I did.
Right,
So,
but yeah, they're not the clips that we use on Instagram.
yeah, but then you can't base anything off clips. If I base things off clips, I'd be going mad.
Oh no, of course.
Yeah, you got to listen to the full thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, us as like podcast hosts, we're always going to use the
You're going to use clips.
The most
of course.
traction.
Naturally, yeah, of course.
This is loose lips though, so we do want the tea.
Of course. Talk to me.
Has anything ever happened with you and Sophie?
No. Nothing's ever happened with me and Sophie. Me and Sophie, we just get along, man.
Just flirty friends.
I think that we have a similar communication style. So
Okay.
I think that it's easier for us to get along because she knows I'm not gonna blow smoke up her ass, and she isn't gonna do the same to me. So I think that's why we get along.
What did you think of her in Perfect Match? Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, to be honest, but she told me everything that had happened, and she told me that she got a bit of backlash for like laughing at somebody. But yeah, I'm glad she won it. I'm happy for her. I wanted her to win. When she told me she was going on, I was like,
oh, she won it?
Yeah. So, spoiler alert. So, yeah, I'm happy for her.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you we're going to have like a little quick fire dating round. Oh, wait, before we move on, was there anything else that we didn't get to see that you feel like was maybe some context for the viewers?
Not necessarily. I think, like they do with all shows, also they've got to edit certain bits down. So like even the chat with me and Katisha that got cut down, there was a lot more that was said. Not a lot, but they got the sentiment of it, but there was more that was said.
Okay.
So I would assume that would have happened for everyone else. Like there was more to their talks and stuff that unfortunately got trimmed out, which they have to do. But no, apart from that, no.
Well, the Love is Blind chapter is closing for the season 2 folk. So I guess just, any more beef you want to carve up on the table before you go, this is the place.
I want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to do well, So like, me and Kyle had a fight. So we had a real fight.
A physical one?
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
But it was like a boxing match. We had a boxing match.
Oh. But this is like public knowledge?
Yeah.
Oh.
We had a fight in April.
Oh,
he asked me to fight.
And you won?
Yeah, I won, of
okay.
course.
I
wouldn't have brought it up if I didn't.
I was going to say you wouldn't have brought it up if you didn't win.
He asked me though, so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But nah, man, I think I'm happy for everyone. I want everyone to do well. I don't have any beef with anybody. I don't dislike anybody. Certain people are my people, certain people aren't my people. That's life though, isn't it? Like
100%.
Not everyone in your life's gonna be your friend, No,
so exactly.
It's like and yeah, I think, like I said earlier, I think certain people they dealt with the first show and the way that went differently to others. And I think that some people are more concerned with perception than others, and that's fine, but I don't give a shit.
I think that's a good note to end on. So yeah, or end that segment on. We're now going to do a quick fire like questions about dating, and then we've got a very short game, and then I will release you.
Let's go.
If you were to do Love is Blind again, but you could only see one of their features, which one would you pick?
Well, it would be between teeth and hair. So I'm probably gonna say hair.
Hair,
Yeah,
okay.
I want to see their hair.
You're a big hair person.
I like good hair.
You like good hair?
Yeah.
What is your biggest deal breaker? No hair.
Probably it'd have to be something to do with maybe like health. So let's say smoking. I'm not a big fan of women that smoke.
Yeah. What about like women that like bun up?
Nah, nothing. Okay. Nothing.
What is your biggest ick that like you possess?
Oh, probably thinking that I'm the prize.
Okay. Valid. What's one thing that you secretly judge people on a first date?
If they offer to pay.
Okay.
So I don't want them to pay, but if they offer to pay.
Yeah.
Or if they don't offer. So if you don't offer, I'm like, yeah. If you do offer, I'm like,
Yeah.
you got good morals.
Okay. I hear that like a lot.
Yeah. I don't want them to pay though. But
No, but I've heard from like men before in the past, it's like, oh, if you don't even offer, then it's like you expect it. And then you start feeling like you're being taken advantage of. What's something that keeps you awake at 3 a.m?
I go to bed super early, so right now it's the heat and hay fever. That's a good question. I'll give you a philosophical one. I'm 30 and I'm still single with no kids, so I guess what keeps me up doesn't really keep me up, but am I going to be single forever?
I like that, a little bit of vulnerability.
I guess so.
What other vulnerable things can you tell us?
I don't have too many vulnerable things to say, to be honest.
Are you still single?
I'm still single, yes.
Okay, so anyone that's still single, we're doing like maybe you can meet somebody who's watching the show because a lot of my viewers are female, straight females. So just camera number 2, you're going to tell us your worst personality trait.
About me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And your best physical feature.
Oh, so my worst personality trait.
You can start with the other one if you want to start on a high.
No. So my worst personality trait is that I'm very, very stubborn. Generally speaking, it's my way or the highway. My best physical attribute is probably my smile.
That's lovely. Okay, so we are looking for submissive women that don't argue or talk back and love a nice smile.
You can argue as much as you like.
Get in touch.
I love a woman who expresses herself.
Okay, so now we're going to play this original game. This game is called Love is Blank.
Okay.
Very straightforward. You just fill in the blank in the statement. A woman shouldn't expect blank on the first date.
A woman shouldn't expect to be paid for on the first date, but she should hope to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. It aligns with what you said earlier. If a woman doesn't blank, I lose interest.
Okay, so if a woman doesn't reciprocate interest, I lose interest.
Okay. A threesome with 2 women is blank.
Threesome with 2 women it's a lot of work.
A threesome with 2 men is blank.
Threesome with 2 men? Like me and 2 men?
No, you another threesome with 2 men in
Oh,
it.
2 men and a girl.
Yeah.
It's competitive.
Competitive. Okay, speaking from experience?
No comment.
The least sexy thing to hear during sex is blank.
The least sexy thing to hear during sex is, was that a fart?
Oh. No, it was a queef. Open relationships are blank.
Open relationships are fun.
Fun, okay. And if my child was gay, I would feel blank.
If my child was gay, I would feel happy for him because he's doing something brave in a world where a lot of people aren't brave.
What a lovely answer.
I try my best.
Come on, Javen, show us the real you. See, actually, that's an interesting point because how you present on the show, people might not consider it to be 100% you because they don't get to see all sides of you. Do you know what I mean? It's very hard to show all 100% of yourself in one situation.
Yes, but what I kind of say to people as well is that like the difference between the shows on Netflix and like other shows like a Love Island or even like a Married at First Sight is they have so many episodes. So there's a lot more volume for you guys to consume versus Love is Blind is 10 episodes plus a reunion.
Right.
This show's only 3.
Yeah.
And we film just as much as everybody else, but they have to trim down so much. So imagine it's almost a 6 or 7 week process, and they've got to trim it down to basically 9 hours of TV.
Yeah.
Whereas those other shows, there's daily episodes.
An hour a day, yeah.
An hour a day. So I think with Netflix, they have to curate personas, and they've got to pull out the bits that are the most entertaining. Whereas these other shows, you really get to sit with the characters a bit more and invest in them a bit more. Unfortunately, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like a budget thing or just the format of the way that they do it on Netflix. You don't really get to sit with us in depth.
Yeah, I don't think it would work in a longer format because you're mostly separate. So you're not witnessing that full group dynamics all the time, which I think is why those other shows work.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, no, Married at First Sight does it, don't they? And they're all separate.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We are separate, but you would at least get to see more of the couple dynamics.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just think, the only way for them to show all sides of me is to show more of me, I guess.